Predictive History has chosen to analyze Dante's Divine Comedy, positioning it as the greatest literary masterpiece in human history. A classic move for the channel. Take a culturally monumental subject, flatten some of its academic complexity, and reconstruct it into a system, a puzzle with a single decipherable key. Today's key is that the comedy is a covert attack on Virgil's Aeneid, and, by extension, the entire Catholic Church. The argument is that Dante built a trap for the reader, using Virgil as an unreliable guide to demonstrate that the ethics of duty and reciprocity lead to hell, and that true divinity is pure, unconditional love. Okay? First, the framing is selective, but not without insight. The claim that Dante wrote in Tuscan to make poetry democratic is standard literary history. But the channel quickly pivots to a grander narrative. This isn't just a linguistic choice, it's a philosophical war. Dante versus Virgil. Love versus duty. Personal access to God versus institutional mediation. This is where the predictive mindset emerges, turning a literary analysis into a schematic, almost game-theoretical conflict. The Aeneid becomes the foundational text of a corrupt Catholic power structure. Dante's journey through hell becomes a necessary deprogramming from that structure. The channel's strength here is in tracking a genuine theme, the unreliability of Virgil as a guide, pointing to moments like Charon's obedience or Minos's warning, "Be careful how you enter whom you trust," and reading them as subtle clues that Virgil is the master of hell, is a provocative, though not entirely original, critical reading. It treats the text as a layered puzzle, which is exactly how many scholars approach the comedy. So far, the analysis is on solid, if dramatized, ground. But the pattern I'm watching for is the reduction of ambiguity into a clean binary system. The channel posits only two possibilities for why Beatrice intervenes. Either Virgil is misinterpreting a divine, non-reciprocal act, or Beatrice is lying to Virgil in terms he can understand. Both possibilities serve the same ultimate argument. Virgil's worldview is fundamentally flawed. This ignores a third, more complex possibility, that Dante is depicting a theological universe where divine love does operate through human relationships and memory, where Beatrice's earthly bond with Dante is part of the mechanism of grace. The channel's reading eliminates that fertile ambiguity to preserve its core thesis. Virgil is bad, Dante is good. System over nuance. Then we see the classic predictive history abstraction. The text's complexity is described as a mathematical puzzle. Hell is an inverted triangle, purgatory a mountain, paradise a solar system. This isn't wrong, Dante's architecture is famously geometrical. But the emphasis on rigorous and mathematical structure serves the channel's brand. It makes literature feel like a code to be cracked, an intellectual system akin to geopolitics or game theory. It appeals to an audience that wants logic, not lyricism. The most telling moment is the interpretation of the souls in hell. The channel argues they are not there because they did bad things, but because they desire to be in hell. You are in hell because you think that hell is the best place for you. You're happy in hell. This is a profound psychological and theological point about self-damnation. But notice the delivery. It's stated as a discovered secret. This is the channel's central rhetorical engine, positioning the creator as a guide who unveils hidden systems. He is, in this video, playing Virgil to his audience's Dante. The irony is palpable. Now, let's evaluate the underlying mechanics. The channel is performing a type of strong misreading. It takes legitimate scholarly observations, Dante's critique of the church, the complexity of Virgil's role, and extends them into a totalizing theory. Every paradox becomes a clue, pointing to the same conclusion. The risk is that it becomes a closed loop. If you accept the initial premise, then every piece of evidence confirms it. Contradictory readings are not entertained. As for the audience manipulation, it's masterful. The tone is calm, assured. The repeated "okay" functions as a verbal tap on the shoulder, a check for understanding, creating an intimacy of shared discovery. The use of a simple translation, "I'm not interested in the language, I'm interested in the ideas," democratizes the text, just as the video claims Dante did. In the end, this video sacrifices the poem's mystical and multivalent nature for a clean, predictive model. But perhaps that's the point. The channel is selling a way of seeing, a way where history, literature, and current events are all puzzles of equivalent form, solvable through pattern recognition and systemic thinking.